Welcome to my car for Muse number 6. We're thinking about what should really matter in the post-COVID church, whenever that might be. What should we be making the main thing? Today, I'm going to think about something I don't feel especially qualified to speak about because I'm a long way from being an expert, as my colleagues and friends often remind me. I want to talk about the digital revolution that has gathered pace in this pandemic. Things are moving so fast in the digital world, we can almost be nostalgic for last week. In the church, on the digital front, what might have taken decades has happened in weeks. The question is, how should we view all this? Is the digital revolution a good thing? Is there a danger that we become enslaved to something that we should be wary of? Is it just a fad or a trend? So, good, bad, or neutral, like money is neutral. Back in January, if I'd have said that I was running an alpha course by Zoom, or scurrying to find the best online platform to stream services, you might have thought that I was the pastor of some sort of hippie movement. Then again, if you'd said people everywhere had to learn to cut hair, or homeschool, or queue up outside Tesco's 2 meters apart, or rely on FaceTime family rather than being able to see them, these and much more besides have become realities in the last 6 months. In many churches, including our church at St. Peter's, we've taken communion in our homes and discovered new ways of worshipping. And of course, we've had to find our way round Zoom. Where would we be without Zoom? Developing new skills is a good thing, whatever age we are, and certainly if we believe in the priesthood of all believers, which I passionately do. Empowering the body to feed itself can only be a good thing. But when it comes to the digital revolution, my observation is that people's views are polarized along generational lines. Either it's a good thing and should be fully embraced and here to stay, according to the young, or it should be treated with suspicion, mainly older people. Now, let me come clean here. I have to say I'm somewhere in the middle. Let me try and explain it in this way. In the New Testament, the church is about people. It's difficult to imagine the New Testament church without thinking about flesh and blood and bone and people. Various passages make this point, notably passages such as 1 Corinthians 12, when Paul likens the church to a diverse body of people. The Greek word ecclesia simply means group of believers. People make up the church. No people in person, in the flesh, means no church. Being a good Baptist, I passionately believe that there's something special that happens when a group of believers gather in the flesh. As Jesus said in Matthew 18, verse 20, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst. So let's not fall into the trap of thinking virtual church is actually the same as church in person. It's not. Now, that's not to say it isn't valuable. In fact, it's the best most of us can hope for at the moment. But what I'm saying is that when we're through the other side of COVID, we should resist the temptation at all costs to only connect with the church online. I know it's tempting, worshipping at home, still in bed with a cup of coffee in our hand. It's very tempting for pastors too. Don't forget that. When the writer to the Hebrews in Hebrews 10 verse 25 says, "Do not give up on meeting together as some are in the habit of doing," it's because being together in person matters. There's no substitute for it, not even a virtual one. That said, I want to encourage all of you watching this not to become digital dinosaurs. Not just because it's here to stay, but because it presents amazing opportunities for us, certainly when it comes to communication, and especially for mission and evangelism. I read a great article in Christianity magazine that said we should view all things digital a little bit like Roman roads. Think how those roads were used to carry the gospel in the first century, how significant they were in the planting of churches and the spread of the gospel. We know loads of people who don't normally connect with the church are dipping into our online services, as they are across the nation. And I don't just mean a few, I mean thousands. Evidently 1 in 4 people in the UK has viewed an online service during lockdown. As the article that I read said, as churches throw open the digital door, they tap into a desire for deeper meaning and hope that resonates with audiences looking for more. So that's exciting. So in this muse, I want to say this about the post-COVID church. Let's be savvy about digital technology. Don't be enslaved by it, and don't be a dinosaur. Okay, big love. See you soon.